Alright, in this lecture we will go over the basic orchestration process. Now this is a series of 6 steps that take you from absolutely nothing and developing that into a full orchestral piece or score. So the first step in this process is to make a piano reduction or a compositional sketch. Basically what this step involves is just composing from nothing. So you generate ideas and then you develop those ideas into, for example, a simple melody and chords and harmony and rhythm, and this is known as the composition stage. So an example of what a compositional sketch looks like after you complete this step is this. This is one of my hand-drawn sketches where I improvised a melody and a bass line on a piano and then I wrote it down like this. And this is just a basic idea that is ready to be developed for multiple instruments into a more elaborate composition. A compositional sketch is slightly different from a piano reduction. This is what a piano reduction actually means. So to get a piano reduction, what you do is you grab a full orchestral score like this. This is one of Mozart's requiems, and it's in fact just 3 bars of music. However, there are so many instruments involved, and it can be very difficult to study and to learn how the orchestration was put together. It might be hard to see the melody, you can't quite grasp the harmonies with all the different lines happening at once. So what you do is you go and condense that down into what is known as a piano reduction. So that score reduced just for a piano, as in a treble clef and a bass clef of music, would become like this. So those same 3 bars have been condensed down onto a single piano staff like this. And you can see the chords in the bottom and the melody is playing octaves in the treble clef. So the whole point of doing that is to reduce the full orchestral score into its most basic components of melody, harmony, and rhythm. So for our purposes, what we want to do is to start off with something like this and then transform it into the full orchestral score. So we're going the opposite direction. But if you're studying orchestration, a very common exercise is to go the reverse way and reverse engineer so that you can see how the composer's mind has worked to get from the ideas to the full score. And in this course, we'll be going both directions so you can learn, obviously, how to compose for orchestra and also how to study orchestration from the full score. Step 2 in our 6-step process is just some basic thinking and planning. So after you've got your composition sketch, what do you do with that? The first things you have to think about include the instruments that you'll use or the sections of instruments, and also how to best convey your ideas, your theme, your emotion, your mood. Step 3 is to deal with the thematic material. Now, what thematic material means is the main ideas of your piece. This could be a simple motif, it could be a melody line, it could be a very unique rhythm that you want to use throughout your piece. So whatever your thematic material is, that is the main focus of the composition. And this is what you'll usually deal with first when you orchestrate. The 4th step is to work with the counter melodies. So counter melodies are little ideas or even whole melodies that counterbalance and go against your main melody to create any sort of effect from tension to supporting the main melody, and they are there to make the composition more interesting. So after the counter melodies, step 5 is to deal with the harmony, the chords, and the accompaniment. So these are all the things that are happening in the background. They're generally more uniform, they're not as interesting as the melody and the counter melodies, but they are very important as well to paint the entire picture of your orchestration. And lastly, step 6 is to create the orchestral work. You want to manifest your orchestral piece by either writing a full orchestral score or by producing your orchestral work, whether in a DAW or recording a live orchestra. This will result in a finished product that you can deliver to the world. Now, step 6 can involve other steps as well. You can take smaller steps on the way to your finished work by sketching out rough orchestrations multiple times, developing it more each time. And this is highly recommended because it's less daunting when you take baby steps. So in this course, we will be learning very thoroughly steps 2 to step 6. So from the planning point to the manifesting point. We're not going to concentrate on composing and generating ideas because ideally you already know how to do that. So we're just going to go from your most basic ideas and taking that into a full composition through these 5 steps. So there you go, that is the basic orchestration process, and actually it requires a lot of careful thinking, consideration and planning, at least for 4 of those 5 steps. You'll also need a lot of knowledge about the instruments that you're going to use, and don't worry about that because we're going to cover this quite extensively in this course. Okay, so we will learn a lot and practice a lot of these mental processes needed for orchestration, and we'll also go and create the finished product as well. So I hope you look forward to it, and let's continue.